All right. If everybody, yeah, and Jerry, you got any questions?
No, I'm just listening. I'm just listening. He giving out some great information. That's to have young people involved in learning how to fly and to be willing to do it is really great. Because I was watching one of those programs where these young people in Africa, it's no big deal for them to learn how to fly anymore over there. Um, because it's they have some of the resources there for them. Uh, but here in America, it's still so many restraints that and obstacles that get in the way of young people' ability to pursue their dreams and careers. That so of course the community definitely need to help make sure that that young lady get what she need, and that's often the case. Sometimes it's our fault too because we don't do what we need to do to make sure, because it's enough of us to make sure that not only did she get 5,000, but really 100,000 if she needed. Because yeah, if you got about if you got 10 or 15,000 people that donate, I mean, she can go on and do whatever she need to do, because if 10 or 15,000 people decide to get involved, just 1,000 people, that will put her over for whatever she need to make sure she get what she need to get that get that license and go on to be what she want to be. But
Yeah,
we got
and that kind of funding could spread out because she's not the only little tool that wants to do this in our family of kids. But we've got some other kids in the queue about doing their flight training. So we're trying to encourage them to apply for scholarships, and we're helping them with that particular cause. And there are some success stories through the Flight Academy from students, from kids right here in Pensacola. Michael Martin, born and raised here, is getting an interview soon here with Federal Express. He's a captain at SkyWest Airlines right now, and so he's moving his career forward. Um, Joseph Young got all
Oh,
of his
no.
flight ratings. Unfortunately, his parents were able to help him fund a lot of his training through Auburn University, but he went into management. He just came back from 2 years over in Paris as the manager for their European and African divisions over there. Um, Young lady over in Mobile, Alabama, right now in the Coast Guard, Catalina Rios is one of our students. She's a helicopter aircraft mechanic. Isaiah Herring is a KC-130 crew chief, flying crew chief. Just spoke with him, and he's moved up to. He said MOC, which I'm like, what is MOC? He was like the maintenance operations center. So he's elevated his status
Wow.
through those careers as well. Kendall Lee became a Navy nurse. She hung around the flight academy when she was 7 years old, went to Tuskegee with us on a field trip, never left her mind and her psyche from that experience, ended up graduating from Tuskegee with a degree in nursing and going on into the military. So these are some of the fruits of planting seeds that we do from the flight academy in many levels. Another young lady, just to give you a perspective here, Adrianette Williams. She was a student in our flight academy when she was young, and she's an attorney now. In fact, she was on the team of Ben Crump
Oh,
during the George Floyd's process. She just moved back to Pensacola, and she's probably going to be on our board of directors here pretty soon. So a lot's happening with the Flight Academy, and I encourage the community to come check us out. Give me a call, send us an email, and come out. We're looking for volunteers. Just it's easy.
Okay. All right. Gang, y'all got anything else for Clifton this morning?
just a big thank you. A real big thank you. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no problem. It's just my reasonable service, like what all of you are doing. It's my calling, and I'm happy to. God has blessed me in a way that you can't keep these things to yourself. You got to help somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
How you
All
get
right,
more food.
Clifton, thank you. We appreciate you for
Yes,
coming
sir.
on, and folks, please donate and please help the cause. It's for a good thing because y'all know what the alternative could be. So we know somebody trying to do something, but they don't necessarily have the resources to do it. Let's help them out. Give folks a helping hand. That's what I say. And I think also, Cliff, I don't know. I know you know a lot of folks. And I don't know nothing about this, but maybe somebody can create a GoFundMe page as well to help that out as well. So
Yeah, I don't know much about that either. Yeah, I mean, if someone would like to just give me a call and discuss it, that's fine. As I mentioned before, the preferred way is to kind of go through our portal so we can
yeah.
recognize you and, we can maintain some good fiduciary responsibility in our accounting.
All right. Give them that website again, Clifton, before you go.
Okay, it's just chappyjamesflightacademy.org. chappyjamesflightacademy.org.
Okay. Night James. Lightacademy.org. Okay. All right, Cliff. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for coming on. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for your time. You guys have a
Uh,
great day.
all right.
You
No
too.
problem.
Bye.
Jerry, what's going on?
Not much. Yeah, I know. Last Tuesday we had, we were talking about the Democrat Party, and we had said we were going to hit on that Democrat socialism for a minute.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's talk about that for a minute, an hour or two, or whatever we want to talk about it.
yeah.
Now, talk about democratic socialism. Socialism, and I saw a sign just at a church just the other day, just yesterday, Jerry, just yesterday,
Uh,
saying that socialism could lead to communism
Oh,
and all this other. Did you
I
see that
saw that.
sign?
I saw that same sign. Yeah,
I
that,
thought it was sickening.
and it's on a major highway too. I think that's the one
Exactly.
you saw on W Street. It's on a major
Right.
highway. And
I
so
bet you I
so
know exactly what church it is.
yeah, and so to see, and that's the beautiful thing about freedom of speech is that you are,
Right.
to be able to have this. So then that leads to examination or conversation or criticism, or you can agree or not. But I think it's important to have factual information. You have to be able to agree on the facts. And so yeah,
Hmm.
that was shocking to
Yeah.
see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because all these, one of the things people are getting fed up with just a lot of the establishment of the established Democrat Party, and so there's the people that's getting elected or people who are challenging the status quo. And not only are they challenging the status quo, they're challenging the people that are so laid back in the Democrat Party, they won't fight for anything or come out and speak out on issues of concerning to the people. And so when they go to talking about democrats, when they go to talking about socialism going to lead to communism, if that was the case, all of Europe would be under communism right now, and many other countries would be under communism. But that's one of the biggest lies that was ever told, that people who believe in socialism, because we all here believe in socialism, and we hit on it a little bit. Our highways and bridges is a socialist program. Social Security is a socialist program. Medicare, Medicaid, all of those are socialist programs. That means everybody put into the pool and get something out of it, and it's distributed throughout supposedly the states and down to the counties. Uh, you know, to make sure that everybody gets supposedly now get an equal share of what has been put in, which is not the case most of the time, because we don't get our fair share of anything uh, through it. But through a socialist program, meaning that you got full Medicare, instead of paying 20% when you get of age, you shouldn't have to pay a dime. You shouldn't have to even file, shouldn't even have to use people shouldn't have to pay taxes on their Social Security or anything. It should be tax free after worked 40 or 50 years and you still have to pay taxes on the little change you do get from Social Security. So, you know, so people gonna go to talking about socialism, so people don't vote for social democrats. Social democrats have, and many of them call themselves independents now because they believe in socialism. They believe in social, like Bernie Sanders think that everybody ought to have full Medicare and Medicaid to take care of them. We should have our everything should be paid for by the people because, in which it is, but because they're giving so much money to the rich. You making trillionaires out of one man, more money than all of the bottom 60% of America get. This one person has, and then with the combined top 1 or 2%, you're talking about $5 or $6 trillion that's being taken out of the economy every year, which the taxpayers pay, and nothing coming back, and it's only getting worse. And so,
can I just ask a question to clarify? So I'm hearing you attach it to a political party, but socialism hasn't always been attached to a political party. In my understanding, I know it's a social system and it's an economic system. So as an economic system, it had just been attached to it was a system. It was not attached to a particular party or an institution. When did that change? Because you're right, we've always
got his ass in there.
When we've had these social. Let me finish, Vernon.
Okay.
We've had these.
So my Trump derangement syndrome would act up. Go ahead.
I'm gonna get you. Wait, we got some fresh grapes here. I forgot to show y'all these. We got some fresh grapes here from I need to send you some so you can. That's the cure to your syndrome, Vernon. So when did it move from or get into this zeitgeist from just being an economic system and doing good, as you said, with our roads, with some of our health system, some of our retirement system, into one political party? Because the road doesn't care which political party you own. Medicare doesn't care which political party you own. Social Security doesn't care which political party you own. So when was that shift?
Well, when people begin, really going back to the 30s and 40s, there were people who was always socialists who believed that people should have free Medicare. And the reason we don't have free Medicare right now is because, I can't think of which administration it was in, but anyway, they felt that if we, if you give 80% and you left 20%, Black people wouldn't be able to, pay for it and go into, be into the doctor's offices and all of that. So that was the reason for the 20%. White folks don't realize that because of discrimination, they have to pay that 20% also. When we should have had, under Roosevelt, he wanted to make sure that we had socialized medicine in the country,
as in full health care,
right?
So that everybody's contributing, so everybody gets to benefit. Okay,
and Social Security and all that came under that administration, and so these are all. It was always, America has always had a social program, but they just call it capitalism.
So this is post Depression era then. So this is late 1920s, or you said 1930s. So this 30s, is after, so this is after we went through the Great Depression. Then they said that we need to take care of everybody instead of, okay. I think I understand that. Okay.
Yeah, because so many people was going, once they were unable to work or couldn't get a job, they didn't have no Social Security and no safety nets whatsoever back then. You either stayed with family or lived with family, and that was something that it was good in one hand because most of the time, the grandmother was there to help take care of the children and all of that, while the other part of the family worked, the mother and father. But through Social Security, it was a safety net to help make sure that that person don't be thrown out on the street somewhere if they didn't have relatives to take care of them and all of that. So those was kinds of things that should have been enhanced as the years went on. But there's a effort to end Medicare as we know. Medicaid, they have cut that to the bone. They cut over $800 billion out of the Medicaid program. Social Security, the Social Security sovereignty has been decimated, because of the people in the Republican Party. We have to tell it like it is. The senators and Congress people and the presidents, the people that's been president of this United States and the Republican Party has done some devastating effects on the country as far as social program. Education is a social program. That's what everybody put money into it, and it was going to the National Education Department, where they had a civil rights enforcement mechanism built into it to make sure that people got schools supposedly gotten X amount of dollars for their Title VI and Title IX programs and all of that, to make sure there was an equitable amount of money distributed through the different counties and onto the schools. But the states, and then onto the counties and to the schools. So the social program has always been there. Capitalism now is flipped upside down. The poor people are the ones doing the capitalism. Everybody else at the top is the socialists. They're the ones getting the benefit of the socialized program.
I'm looking into this gardening method. That's I'm going to butcher his name, and so my apologies to the professor. It's and I was looking it up to try to see if I can pronounce it. He was an ecology professor, or is, he may still be living. A Japanese brother, Mikara. Let me see if I can just Akira Miyawaki. Miyawaki, and so his and there is an example of that here that Lloyd and I have enjoyed, and I took one of my girlfriends there just a couple of days ago, so that we're going to do this nature walk. So his idea is to plant trees close together. And so you, instead of planting, so in our orchard, it's a tree here, and then it's a tree here, a tree 10 feet over. And in commercial gardens, commercial garden, because of the equipment, you may have a tree 20 feet apart. Professor Miyawaki's idea is that you plant these trees closer together, so that the roots then become beneficial to one another. And so, and with his method, and with this method that has been shown to work right here in Pensacola, where they have reforested a pavement. Yes, you heard me say that right. They reforested this pavement. If you look at it's the old Knights of Columbus Hall I think it's either at Jackson and Palafox, right across from First Baptist Church. Right. You wouldn't even be able to tell that the building is still there. Many people have done dance things and gone there, but they bought the building and essentially reforested this pavement. But using that's the first time I heard about it, the Miyawaki process. And so this idea that you plant trees and plants close together, and so they then benefit from the root, and they grow 3 times faster. So where my trees are struggling growing, I looked at this, I said, Lord have mercy, I've been having this thing all wrong, thinking that they need room to spread and grow. But no, when you put this, it's like you put a person on an island, there are no other resources available to grow. And so you don't have this whole idea of reproduction then goes out. You need this close contact. And his method that has been shown and proven to reforest areas, and you don't need a large area for this either. that you plant these things close together, and the root system benefits from being in close contact with others. The tree doesn't care what the tree is next to it. It cares
Right.
not. It is, do you have a strong root? Oh, you don't have a strong root? Well, let me help you strengthen your
Mhm.
so that we can all grow and all grow stronger and better together. So that it's a really amazing system. And I think that just brought to mind when you were talking about this idea of how we have benefited in this country from socialism and socialism principles. And it goes farther beyond people and systems.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
All over the world at one time, that because people, the barter system was a socialist system.
Mm.
I made sure that if you killed the cow, I got a piece of that. Yeah, if I killed the hog, you got some. If I grew wheat, you made. And
Killing a whale in Alaska so that the whole community
right, right.
benefits.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
everybody benefited from it, but now only the people at the top are benefiting, while the rest of us are, suffering at the bottom. I know that everybody is not just destitute, but there are many people that are homeless in this country. Hundreds of thousands of people, over millions of people, I would say, is homeless. And then they built a concentration camp for homeless people in Utah. And you got and what's so sick about that? You give somebody $8 million a day for Starlink. I'm talking about Elon Musk now. And then you become a trillionaire overnight, and everybody else making hundreds of billions of dollars off of the government, off the taxpayer. They're not making it from the government. We are the government for sure. The people are the government. It's for the people, by the people, and of the people. The finances come from the people, that through our taxpayers, through us paying taxes. And so these people are sucking the lifeblood out of the country, and the possibility of children having an education, access to Medicare and Medicaid, access to financial wherewithal that they would need for the future. All of that has been locked out of our reach. And the unemployment among the Black community has raised 8%, got up to 8% already. Almost a million Black women has been purged from the roles of jobs in this country, along with Black men who were many of them had contracts with the federal government, state governments, has been removed. So this is why you have the rise of the social democrats, which is nothing but what we are doing already, but they just calling themselves social democrats, because they're saying to America, we need to do something differently because of what the established Democrats are doing, are going along with they've taken all this big PAC money, so they are owned by these big corporations and all that. When they made corporation people too, from the Supreme Court, and the money that's pouring into politics, and they don't have to even disclose where it came from in many instances, especially with these big PACs, so that the people are not close to or have access to their own political people that they voted for, because the money is has so flooded the marketplace in the political arena, that it is destroying people's hopes and everything else. And then they're talking about Trump saying he's gonna make a speech on how the election was stolen in 2020. We're in 2026. He's still talking about the stealing of the election.
What's wrong with that boy?
Yeah.
So, Jerry, I just interrupt, but you know the sick part about what you said about they feeling concentration camps and stuff like that. It takes millions of dollars a day to run those operations. Right. Why don't they just give the people the millions of dollars, let them live independently?
Exactly.
They could live really well on $1 million a day if they was devoted to people with homelessness and so forth. But no, but that's socialism. They would prefer to hoard the money. You think about Elon Musk, a trillionaire now, okay? A trillionaire, okay? Now that's probably more money than 90% of the people in this country own to combine, okay?
Combine, right?
One man owns more money than 90% of the whole United States of America. And they call this capitalism. They think that's fair and they think that's right. Okay. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. They are the socialists. They are the one that poured in the money from the people.
From the American people.
We need to wake up. But you know what? You know the sad part about it? They know that. And I remember when Dr. King, everything was okay until he started talking about the Poor People's Campaign. And that, I think, in my opinion, I think that's what led to his death, because they don't want the masses to wake up. Okay, they don't want the masses to wake up, because the masses to wake up, then they'll see what's happening. They want to keep us blind. Robin, I know you want to get a point in here.
Yeah, so I think my question goes to, and may have been a couple of points back, Jared, from what you said. That in this country, it appears, and I'm not going to qualify it to say it's good or bad or ugly or otherwise, but it appears that socialism and capitalism had been able to, go
coexist.
Coexist. Thank you. That's a better word. Yeah. Until and I forget what is the name when you have one person at the top in an economic system. What is that called? The together all the money. It appears that thought process, and it's always been there, but has really infiltrated. That may not be the best word, but has really taken a hold and risen to the top, as opposed to seeing all of this coexist, within a reasonable balance. But now you have someone who says, I want it all.
Well, this socialism really started with Ronald Reagan. I mean, not the force of capitalism really started with Ronald Reagan when he cut taxes so deep that it, then they started talking about welfare queens and all of that to take the resources from people who had just started benefiting from the so-called welfare system, which was nothing but a system that they had paid into and never got anything out of. And that was Black people who, once they began to access the welfare system, because it was set up for white women, who was widows and have lost their husband in wars and stuff. But it was never set up for, we could not access those and had the wherewithal to get to it. And for later on, it opened up to single Black women and families. And before they could make a solid move, the man had to leave, which, the Black man had to leave, while white women with their husband and stuff was benefiting from welfare, subsidies to make sure that their families benefited and could buy homes and land and property and all of that. But when it came to the Black family, they had to leave home. The Black man had to get out the house, or they didn't have resources for the children and the mother, even though they had worked the farms for nothing. They had sharecrop and it was taken from them. They didn't even want to give Social Security. I don't think they even started giving farmers Social Security till it was either the late 70s, maybe. It might have been a little bit early in that, might have been in the late 60s. But before that, Black people couldn't even access Social Security, especially if you was on a farm or something like that, because they didn't take it out of your pay, or they took it out, but they didn't tell you they took it out.
So you mentioned Reagan, and I remember that his famous economic system, and I don't know that he developed it or one of the trickle down,
Trickle down, right?
yeah, one of
Mhm.
one of my old coworkers, Mary, I can't remember her last name, but Mary, they asked Mary, they say, "How you doing?" She said, "Well, I never trickled up from Reagan's trickle down theory."
Right, right. I'm telling you, and that
That's
ever
how
since
she
then,
said
that
that.
trickle that
She
that
said
was
she's
the
still
biggest
trying to
joke.
trickle up. So this idea that you provide, as you said, tax breaks, tax incentives,
Mhm.
advances, rewards to the top tier, and then that they would use that money to expand these corporations, that they would hire more people, that they would give people raises. But what they found, and I don't remember the study, what they found in fact is that they made these companies made more investment in the top tier, so that you got an
Right.
additional vacation. And I'm generalizing here, so that you got an
Mhm.
additional vacation, or you got an additional bonus or something. That additional money that came in fact, stayed at that top tier. It never did trickle down, which was the joke that Mary would always say, that was in part true, certainly true for her, but in part maybe even true for the company, that this idea that people really, that trickle down theory, people never trickled up, that it never did trickle down to it, as one of my old professors says, it bottlenecked, and so it was just that, it was a trickle. It
You're
never
right.
did. Yeah.
And on top of that, that trickle down theory was it was a theory only, because what
Um,
they did, they, like you said, they gave all these tax breaks, they gave all this money to these corporations. Many times they turn around and laid off people, so they could have these
um,
what they call the big parachutes packages, so that they could go on these big vacation instead of improving the companies. Many times they pocket that money. These CEOs and all, they pocket the money, so that the people was left were left with nothing. And many times, because they messed up so much, they then had to, restructure, and then restructure mean laying off more people, and then it come down that everybody had to do the job of two or three people. One person had to do the job of two or three people, or they get laid off. And so it has been nothing but a disaster from the very beginning when
and that's
Reagan.
the way to save is when you look at my understanding, when you look at a, a, a profit and loss statement, the large,
Hmm.
in general, the largest line is going to be salary and wages and
Hmm.
benefits and et cetera. And so when you immediately reduce that by laying off people, then you have a reduction in that, and so you can use that money. You're saying they would use that money elsewhere, uh,
Right.
instead of in fact hiring people.
And
And
not only that, they didn't hire people. They didn't even invest into their own companies. A lot of times they just taking the money and used it, for other things, to buy, 5 or 6 houses and,
mm,
luxury cars and boats and all of that, $1 million yachts. So it never did trickle down. They always talk about Wall Street, but how many people invested in Wall Street? Maybe what, 20%, 30 at the most?
mm,
Uh, because most people don't have the money to invest in Wall Street, where they can take a chance on losing ten or $15,000 or more. From if something goes south. So that's the kind of, you got to have at least $100,000 plus money that you might can stand to lose, and nobody want to lose anything, but you might be able to
well,
stand to lose and not be bankrupt at the same time. So
yeah, I always think, especially just having that conversation, and thank you so much for having him on, Vernon, Cliff Curtis, to really put not only a face to it, but the vision behind the Flight Academy. So every time when I'm thinking about, especially because we have the institute, and then we do the network, and so
mhm.
when you're talking to people about how they can do it, and we have this beautiful and humbling opportunity to meet people in these different socioeconomic um, uh, levels. And so my whole thing when I think about people who have made money is I have this sort of recurring thing, and I need to trademark it is you've made $1, now make a difference. So that
Right.
as you said with Elon Musk, how much money would it take, or does it take, for you to be happy? And if you're using, in fact, the money to as your measurement of happiness, you've already started off in the wrong race.
I'll tell you.
That's not even you should not even use money as a measurement of happiness, or even of success. That, it's not. I was in banking, and so our whole deal was telling people it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. But again, if you think that keeping that is the thing that makes you happy, you've already invested in the wrong area. And so you should make $1. But back to what Cliff was talking about. Then here's this opportunity really to make a difference.
Right.
Especially when you can tangibly, you can see it in somebody like the life of young Mackenzie, and so many other Mackenzies whose names we do not even know, that the Academy and other organizations are making way. Even what y'all are doing at Movement for Change, you're fighting for rights. I still laugh at that ad that our friend Leroy Boyd had with the I don't think the club is there anymore, the strip club, the ladies,
Yeah.
Artie's Angels.
Audrey.
Artie's Angels or whatever, and it was the ad with the pole, the lady on the pole. It said, protecting your civil rights one lap dance at a time. So that should go down in history as the single best ad in the world. Centerfold, and so to put a pin there, centerfold. So I don't know if it was dead in the center, but it was close to the center.
Yeah, it was close to the center.
Man, that was the best ad ever. Whoever came up with that ad deserves a Emmy, a Oscar, a Tony, and an Obie award. They EGOT. They need to be. That's the award. But that is the thing, though, that the work that y'all do, protects people that you don't even know about. So here you are protecting people's civil and human rights. And so I think that's the thing that should really, but I don't say force us, but to encourage us to really see the difference that we can make while we are here, between that dash, as people so often talk about. Yeah. So how much money can you accumulate? But before you feel happy, and then at what expense? What is that? That sort of Pyrrhic victory where you laid so many people waste, but here you are up on the mountain, but you have a valley of death below you, destruction below you.
And you're right. If Elon Musk was a nation, he'd be like the ninth richest nation in the world.
Wow.
That you think about that. He got more money than most countries.
Wow.
And
the sad part is you'd have a lot of people won't become musketeers, if you will.
Right.
What's our brother's name? Alexander Dumas, the Three Musketeers. There'd be a lot of people who want to become musketeers.
Right. One of the things you said that that his body's left in the waste of that, though. When because he's invested in the Congos and all of that. And there are people who are using their hand to dig out this cobalt and all of that. And they are dying as a result. I'm talking about children. You're talking about almost 1 million children has been displaced and dying from hunger and starvation, and being forced to work in these cobalt mines and these deep holes, that with all this dust that comes up in their face that they are breathing in daily, and they are dying from it. And and people like that don't care. People like these billionaires that making a huge amount of money off of these resources that come out of Africa, instead of paying the people a decent wage and making sure that the country that they are invested in, they use the equipment that could be used. They buy the equipment that could be used because they're making so much money. They're making money just hand over foot, so that the people are suffering and dying, and they know it's easy to replace it, like doing slavery. You know, a horse was more valuable to them than a human being. You were lower than a cattle. That you could be lynched or killed or beat to death, and we're gonna bring in another supply of the same thing, same labor.
You were a product that was
Right,
providing a service.
right.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is in many countries in Africa right now, and sometimes it's from poor leadership, but all of the great leadership was either assassinated, murdered, or overthrown by our government in France and Britain and all Germany, all these, because they cut up Africa for their benefit.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important. Again, back to what this. I'm going to use McKinsey as an example. I think that's why it's important to really make those investments in our young people.
Right.
Not only a dollar, these financial resources to get them to the next thing, but also information, providing them with this historical context so that they can see, when we were talking about the brother who went into that we're laughing about now, I can't think of his name, who went into space, but even before them, you had a Ron McNair, you had a Mae Jemison, so that they can really see that, and to have, as Vernon said, all those people into one area. Into one deal, and to be able to see. I mean, this is a living history museum, and you have a General Chambers, or the next, they said Bernice, forgot the name of the Marine pilot. So just to be able to have those people in this space and provide them with not only a present context, but a historical context, so that they can see. We have a young man in our program this summer with the Summer Youth Employment program that the county is offering, who wants to be an economist. And so how do you even get somebody to look at that? And then what sort of, is he a supply side economist or a demand side economist? And so, how do you get them to not be able to sway, which is we see happening, like we mentioned with Reaganomics? How do you get them to go into the best direction? Best direction sometimes is not our own direction, but so that they're not swaying a political party or a thought or a process towards some evil end. We'll gain this, but again, we have this level of destruction here. So it's a whole continuum, and we can't stop with one thing just because you get one person in or out of office. It's a whole line, it's a whole thread that just goes up and down and in and out, that you have to stay engaged in. And in your part, whatever your part is, you have to stay engaged in that in that piece, whether it's education or politics or civil or human rights or media, educate, whatever that area is. You have to make that investment. And pull up somebody as you climb, reach as you climb.
Yeah, just don't tell Clarence Thomas that.
Well, fortunately, there's room for correction. We all should remember that we have room for correction, and that we should remain teachable. But when we rest on our laurels, or and say, I got mine, now you get yours, that's antithetical to that Milwaukee principle, that we grow better and stronger together. But if you say, well, I'm out here and I'm the exception and not the rule, then your whole way of thinking is skewed. So I don't care what position you're in, whether you're on the Supreme Court or whether you're the janitor, or it's all important. As my daddy said, you best get to know the janitor when you go someplace. That's the first person you get to know. Is that person know where the bodies are buried and got the keys to be able to let you in the door to see it. So you know the janitor.
I just want to before we wrap it up here, y'all. But I just wanted to be talking about this socialist Democrat. Don't fall for that okie doke. Okay, it's a divide and conquer strategy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to divide the Democratic Party to try to make you think that being a socialist Democrat is a bad thing. And now they're trying to say you're going to lead to communism and all that kind of that bull. Just don't buy into that stuff.
Don't
You can
fall
be any
for it,
kind of
right.
Democrat you want to, if you want to be. If I had to choose a label, yeah, I would choose to be a socialist Democrat because I believe in helping the people. Okay.
Yeah.
This thing they call capitalism only works for the very few. Okay.
Yeah, because
And
it's called rugged individual. You know,
right.
individualism is what has caused America to be going on a spiral downward rather than moving forward and upward. Because you know, at one time we were talking about upper mobility and all of that, and now
pull
know
yourself
that
up by your bootstrap and
yeah,
all that.
yeah, you know that old pull yourself up. You know how you gonna? You know, one of the things Martin Luther King said it's a cruel thing to tell a bootless man to pull himself up by his own bootstrap. It's a cruel thing.
I remember we were at a friend's house, and so she had different political parties. I said, well, I asked her, I said, well, you know, why? She said, well, you're an independent, you're a registered independent. So I know, I know that you can, that you can listen, and I said, okay. So one of the gentlemen who was a Republican was talking about the different neighborhoods, and we need to get them out of these these neighborhoods. I said, listen, I like my neighborhood and I like the taxes. I contribute very well every year to the tax base, and so I like my neighborhood and I like my taxes. So if you're trying to increase, if you're trying to have me move so that I can pay a higher tax, you barking up the wrong tree. So turns out he didn't own a pot nor a window, but
right.
but he was putting on like he was he did go now he was living with other women in these neighborhoods, so he didn't own a pot nor a window, but
right.
he denigrate our neighborhood because he said we should want to live like this. No, I want the my roads, as you talked about, the same roads. I want my roads to be drivable. I want my air to be breathable. I want our children to be schoolable. I want that same thing, just in a different neighborhood. And so different does not mean deficient. And so listen, I'm glad I got a pot and a window and got a couple of extra both in case something fails.
But before we go, it reminded me when you was talking about the trees. Most people don't realize that trees have fetal roots. They don't. All the roots don't do the same thing. They have the fetal roots are the one. Then you have the root that brings the water into the tree.
That's right.
So if these trees are close together, that means it's going to pull equal amount of water, and it's going to be nutrients and all that. It's going to be much easier for it. And this is why. I can't think of the name of the tree. They said that the roots wrapped around each other, and it stays there for thousands of years. But because of that, all the roots are tied together. When you dig up one tree, you pulling up roots from another tree.
Wow! Wow! Yeah. Well, our farmer probably knows. Our burnt corn farmer probably knows what that tree is.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what the name of the tree is. I know about trees, but I don't know too much about roots. But it all do make sense though. It's just like my grandmama used to tell me. She told me in a different form. She told me one day to pick up a stick and break it, and I broke it. She said, pick up 2 sticks. Well, I'm strong enough. I can break 2 sticks. She said, pick up another. Can you break 3? I couldn't break 3. And then put 4.
Oh, wow.
She said, the more you get together, you're not going to be able to break that bone.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. That's right.
Way to go, Grandma. Wow. Wow. That's a lesson.
Yeah, it is a lesson. It is a lesson.
Wow. Yeah.
To be learned. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We got that topic. But anyway, I just don't want folks to get the wrong idea about
Yeah, Democrat
being
socialism.
Democrat socialist. Don't buy into that okie doke.
I'm definitely a Democrat socialist. I believe in helping other people.
Yeah, I do too. I believe in helping other people. And I think Bernie Sanders had it right all along.
Yeah,
Okay.
he
But we're
was.
gonna find as we go along, we're gonna find out that this is our country is a diverse country. It don't have to be strictly capitalism. We can do a
Right.
little capitalism, we can do a little socialism, and we got communism in this country as well. Look at the White House. But anyhow,
Yeah.
that's a version of
That's
communism.
That's
That's
fascism in the White
communism.
House.
Yeah.
Well, and that, and that's why this country, we're celebrating the 250 years of it being colonized as America, and certainly thousands of years with native folks before
Mhm.
that, of all stripes, as they say.
Yeah.
So, and I think that, this experiment, as one pundit said, this experiment called America is undergoing a transformation. Roland Martin says, he argued that we're just not in the second Reconstruction, that in fact we may be in the third Reconstruction. So
Yeah.
really
Yeah. The
see
third,
how
right.
to how to rebuild this country as we go through, as someone or some system or some institution tries to tear it down. And what do you say, have this rugged individualism, gain it all for themselves.
Right.
How do you rebuild that? And someone said, that for progress to happen, some people have to die, and it's not a physical death. I am certainly not advocating for that. It is that sometimes people have to die out of office, that they have to be removed out of office, or that they, that they're no longer in charge of this or that. And and that is the beauty, I think, of, as flawed as it is, that is the beauty of this political system, where heretofore, I know there are people trying to change it, that you have this the election cycle, so that every 2 years, am I getting off track? I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're getting off track
I'm
here.
just getting off track.
But to your
Okay.
point, but Robin, to your point though, metaphorically speaking, you're right. Death creates new life. I remember one time I had this cat when I was a child, and the cat passed away, and so I didn't have the foresight to bury him in a shoebox, so I just buried him as it was. But that very spot when I buried that cat, you ought to saw the new growth. It was flourishing, and all the things around it wasn't as green as where I had put that cat. And so metaphorically speaking, you're right. Death creates new life and new opportunity and everything.
In the garden, absolutely. Yeah, things die, they drop in the forest. You see things die and drop, and it provides nutrients and all. I'm glad you cleaned up that cat story. I was afraid it was going somewhere else. So.
All right, y'all, we got to get out of here. Robin, you got any last words, Robin, before we go?
We've got our 13th anniversary of the Pensacola Network coming up next Friday, a week from tomorrow. All are invited, and we want to especially thank Par 4. Thank you, Vernon, for WBQP being there along this journey. Par 4 went in with us last month and co-sponsored. That was fabulous. We had people from Memphis, Atlanta, I think that Texas. There were so many different people that came in for that Par 4 celebration. I know we talked about that. And so leading to, they have provided refreshments, adult beverages for next Friday. And we're going to have Erin Wilmer, who owns Wilmer Financial Services. She's going to be our motivational speaker. So she's going to give us some 10-15 minute motivational talk, and so we're just going to have a good time. And again, courtesy of Par 4, because they left the beverages there so to celebrate. So we are grateful for that.
Now you're coming up on 13 years. When your anniversary?
13 years. It's next Friday 13 years with the
That's going to be the anniversary. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
So y'all have been there from the start, and I just, in his absence, Robert Hill, who just, encouraged, especially encouraged Lloyd to do it. He would come over when we were doing them in Fort Walton, and so he just especially encouraged Lloyd to do it. So just in his absence, I know he in Alabama. He ain't trying to come back here, but but so many people were there from the beginning. As you mentioned, JT Young, Bentina, Terry with Gulf Power at the time. Cliff mentioned his son, Joseph Young. So JT is back over at Gulf Power now. And so, yeah, so many people were there from the beginning, saying, you can do it. George and Johnny Blackman. Yep, you can do it. You can do it. I may not be there, but I know you can do it. And so I'm going to tell people about it. And that has truly made the difference. So we couldn't do it without just that whole Miyawaki gardening system. That's what made the Pensacola Network, because we've done it with other people. So we're grateful. Yeah.
Jerry.
Equal Ground going to be at Hearst Chapel on August the 1st, doing the legislative breakdown. So we are looking forward. We'll have the time and all that ready for everybody on August 1st. That's Saturday.
Okay.
That's a Saturday. And then our town hall information meeting is the fourth Thursday of each month, and we bring information that people need to know, especially about voting and other things that are affecting us, the economy and everything else. So we'll talk more about it on Tuesday, Vernon.
Yeah, one of the things also, speaking about voting and everything, that they just changed some precincts on temporary locations and some permanent locations.
Right.
So we're going to need to talk about those changes of precincts as well, because people that might not know where they need to vote, but we got that information. All right, gang, I thank you for coming in on Thursday. Like I said, we come in early and stay late. And that's good on a Thursday. It's always good on a Thursday. Jerry, Robin, thank you. Folks that's out there listening, thank you so much for tuning in to Morning with Vernon. And y'all need to tell everybody about the show and tell everybody how to get the show. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, as he would say, is the weekend, and the weekend and the Gulf Coast is made for each other. They got the air show this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Good luck getting out there on
I'm telling you,
out there on that beach and everything. And you're gonna be real hectic. But I want to advocate the people to be safe every morning. Robin and Jerry, I didn't think twice about how depressing it was to get past on news every morning. But every morning I have to report a death, either from a motorcycle accident, a car accident, or shooting or killing. But people, be safe out there, or either a fire, stuff like that. Every day, one of those items. So be safe out there and have a safe weekend. And folks, we'll see you on tomorrow on another edition of Morning with Vernon. Love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go.